Hi, my name is Trixie. I'm an alter in our DID system, and this is a video about how to use my neo pronouns. So if you are here to say something nasty about that, you can f*** off right now. So I do use she and they pronouns, but I primarily use fae, fair, fair self. So you can liken fae, fair, fair self to she, her, herself, and you would use it the same way in a sentence. So you could say something like, Faye went to Fair favorite store to buy something for Fair self. I use those pronouns because I am a sprite inner world, which is a type of really small fairy. I'm about 4 feet tall. So I'm mostly like a Tinkerbell type fairy, but I'm also the type of fae that, sorry, what was your name?
Wow, the land of make-believe.
Now, I would strongly recommend to that young lady we just heard from in the first clip that if you ever want anyone to take your pronouns seriously, maybe don't start talking about fairies and Tinkerbell. Just saying. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy Clown World update for you guys today, and as usual, we have, well, very little time to waste. So, let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So here we have a post from a subreddit called Makeup for Transgender Women. Now, this slightly burly individual who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman posted this photo. The caption says, "Hi all. Looking forward to getting ideas to improve the looks on this prednisone-ravaged face."
I've got more sins than a Chinese phone book!
All right, we're going to keep it moving with this crazy story about this slightly rotund female rapper who goes by the name Dank Demoss and is suing the rideshare company Lyft because one of its drivers told her she wouldn't be able to fit in his car. Roll it.
Magga Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
Believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
For every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL it's called.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough.
I get the money and flip it and make some food.
Dank Demoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like a Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
And as you can see, the ass is on the front.
Front butt.
Did that lawyer just say that being black and being morbidly obese are the same thing? Anyway, next up we have a perfect example of what the mainstream media does to a human brain. I honestly feel bad for people like this woman because she believes what she's saying. Roll it.
I just wanted to come on here and say that orange motherfucker is not my president. I did not vote for him. I did everything I could to keep him out of there. And if you are a black or brown person or a person of the LGBTQAI community, you are all safe with me. And when I'm out in the community, I'm paying attention, because if anybody needs help, my fat, broke little body will be right there to do my best to help. I don't know how we're going to get through these 4 years, but we're going to have to do it together. I just love you all so much. And I hate that we're all being put in this position. But we got to stand together. Have a good day.
Are you f***ing crazy? Huh?
And next up, we have this lady who says that Magga brains need to be studied. Now remember, always pay attention to the eyes. They're the windows to the soul. Roll it.
You know, the most frustrating part of all this is actually trying to have a f***ing conversation with someone who's actually MAGA. Like, you can make a point, and they f***ing don't get it. Like, they can't even, all they do is come back with, "F*** you, libtard." Another delusional libtard. Seriously, MAGA brains need to be studied. We need to know, is it mental illness? Are they just stupid? Like, it's f***ing crazy. It's just f***ing crazy.
She's got the crazy eyes. Dude, the eyes, they're crazy.
Now, in my opinion, the worst occupations to have DEI hires are airline pilots and doctors, the medical industry. However, this young lady with pride and trans pins on her rainbow lanyard thinks that we need to keep DEI in medical schools. This should be good. Roll it.
That DEI bans would extend to medical schools as well. Hi, my name's Delia. I am a transgender and intersex medical student, activist, and educator. Quite literally, the entire reason I went to medical school was to make sure that transgender, intersex, and non-binary patients are cared for and have what they need in order to access healthcare. And now they're trying to take that away. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, that's kind of terrifying. DEI in medical education is not just about ensuring that we have physicians from diverse backgrounds. It's also about ensuring that we're learning about diverse populations and making sure that we are prepared to care for patients from the populations around us. And that includes the LGBTQIA2+ community. If DEI is banned in medical schools, that means there will be millions of patients across the United States that physicians are not adequately prepared to treat. And this is really dangerous. We know that people from marginalized communities have higher rates of adverse health outcomes than people from non-marginalized communities. If you, like me, are in healthcare or in medical education, we have to be doing the work to ensure that our education is protected, because that will protect our patients.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Okay? That is just stupid.
Now, you notice how that young lady we just heard from, who called herself an activist, didn't say she went to medical school to help people in general. She went to medical school to help a specific group of people, the non-binaries. So what if a straight white man needed her help in an emergency room setting? Would he get it? Anyway, next up. So this fella says, imagine if Carmelo Harris was president right now, how much better things would be. And then he goes on listing a bunch of things that he thinks Trump is doing that are bad. I think they're fantastic. Roll it.
All right, Trumpers, come and get me. Can you imagine what it would have been like to have Kamala Harris as the president right now versus all the chaos that Donald Trump has already got stirred up? Like, it would have been 10-1. There wouldn't have been none of this getting rid of the FBI. There wouldn't have been putting Pete Hegseth over the Department of the Pentagon. There wouldn't have been all this getting rid of FEMA and putting the education back to the states. It would have been a whole lot more peace and calm, and it would have been more unifying. And not only that, really trying to draw unifying with these other countries that we deal with and that we import their goods, because we can't afford to buy American shit, because us Americans, we require too much fucking money. I mean, we've talked about this 100 times now. We can't go out here and buy an American-made damn refrigerator with American workers because the shit would be $20,000. They have to be made and manufactured, and the parts have to be comes from other places to make it affordable over here, because we require so much pay because it costs so much to live in America. So at the end of the day, Kamala and Joe Biden was doing a great job. Kamala would have done probably a better job because she had a great agenda she wanted to put out and get in a line. And look, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is we wouldn't have had a criminal in office. We wouldn't have had a sex offender in office. We wouldn't have had somebody that is putting someone else in charge, like Elon Musk doing all these stupid salutes and all this shit. Like, it's just fucking chaos with this guy. So I hope this midday kind of update situation here does you some good, MAGA, to really show you how bad you fucked us. But the video that I've got coming tonight, it'll blow your socks off, so you stay tuned for that one.
What the hell did you just say?
At the end of the day, Kamala and Joe Biden was doing a great job. Kamala would have done probably a better job because she had a great agenda she wanted to, put out and get in a line.
You must have got manure for your brains.
You've shit for brains.
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. Now, I have to leave this clip muted because there is a copyrighted song playing in the background. However, the caption says, non-friendly reminder, if you support or voted for Trump, unfollow me. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by none other than Pastor Bob Rogers and the YouTube channel True Crime Stories. Pastor Bob and True Crime Stories, thank you guys so much for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. And I want to give a big shout out to today's honorable mentions, Pastor Bob Rogers, Jack Jam, and John Beck for each leaving a super thanks on the last video. So, Pastor Bob, Jack Jam, and John, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So, once again, today's video sponsors are Pastor Bob Rogers and the YouTube channel True Crime Stories, with the honorable mentions going to Pastor Bob Rogers, Jack Jam, and John Beck. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, I think we've all seen enough of this young lady for one day. Get this off the screen, please. Oof.
You look ridiculous.
All right, let's take a quick break from politics for a moment and see what else is happening out there in clown world. Now, you guys remember the young lady with the chin whiskers we heard from a minute ago that was talking about DEI in med school? Well, this is the exact kind of patient she would be advocating for. Not all patients, just these patients. Roll it.
I'm a non-binary man, which means to me that I'm a man in the same way that a thumb is a finger. Like, yeah, I hang out with the fingers in some contexts. I'm included in with the fingers. But ultimately, I'm not a finger. I'm a thumb. You know?
I don't know what the you're talking about.
And next up, we have this individual, self-proclaimed trans activist Lily Tino, who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, Lily Tino recently found himself inside the ladies' restroom with a little child. Roll it.
I was just in the women's room at a cheesecake factory, and when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old, tops. She was standing there alone, I assumed waiting for her parent who was in the stall. And all the stalls were full. So like I couldn't go in, I just had to wait. And it was me and this little girl and no one else. And she kind of looked at me like, and I just like nodded my head and didn't look at her. I was like, it's kind of awkward. And it occurred to me that when the parent, who I don't know, leaves the stall, exits their stall and sees me, a trans person, and their little 3-year-old daughter, that they might make an assumption based on untrue things that they've heard. An assumption that could be very dangerous for me, unsafe for me. So instead of waiting for that to potentially happen, I left the bathroom and decided I didn't need to pee that bad. Trans people go through this thought process any time they're in a bathroom. And it's not okay. And it's important to talk about because it happens all the time.
All right, that's creepy.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this amazing clip of one of CNN's chief propagandists, Jim Acosta, quitting live on the air. This was his last show. And instead of coming out and apologizing to the American people for lying to them for years, his final message is, and I quote, "Don't give in to the lies. Hold on to the truth." Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time. Love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
And I just wanted to end today's show by thanking all of the wonderful people who work behind the scenes at this network. You may have seen some reports about me and the show. And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me, I've decided to move on. I am grateful to CNN for the nearly 18 years I've spent here doing the news. People often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no. That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama's trip to Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I have always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
What did you say? What the did you just say?
One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth.
God, you are an incredibly big piece of shit.
2, 10, 12, 15. Oops, stepping on them. It's black. Anyway.